Welcome in, welcome in, Chargers fans. Not sure what day I'm going to be posting this, possibly Sunday, possibly Monday. Point is, it's draft week, and if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're watching it before the draft, not after, but it's a big week. Not my favorite week, but draft is my favorite day, favorite stretch, like 3 days, essentially. We've made a lot of moves, a lot of big moves in the off season, preparing us for next season, gearing up, Super Bowl run, maximizing Justin Herbert's rookie contract. This video is going to be for all Chargers fans, but especially if you haven't been following much of the draft. If you don't know what picks the Chargers have, if you don't know how the draft is looking this year, some of the players that the Chargers might draft, then this video is for you. If you're into the draft or the Chargers, then my channel is for you. Go ahead and subscribe. But getting into it, Chargers, we have a lot of picks this year. We had more prior to the Khalil Mack trade when we traded away our second round pick. And most of our picks are in the 6th and 7th round, as you guys can see here. But big one is pick number 17 in the first round of the draft. And then we have one in the 3rd, pick 79, one in the 4th, 123, one in the 5th, 160, and then 2 6th round picks and 4 7th round picks. So we have the ammo to get a lot of guys added to this roster to, not completely overhaul, but I'm going to go over some of the holes that we have on a roster, some of the needs that we still have going into the draft on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. But we have the number of picks to address those needs. Personally, kind of jumping ahead, but I am a fan of trading back just so that we can maximize the picks right in this range right here in this top row. First round, I want to trade back a little bit so that we can get more picks, possibly in the second round right here, and possibly some more third round picks, because that's where I think the meat of this draft is. So really just getting into it, the Chargers needs, pretty obviously, biggest need is right tackle. If you are watching this video, if you are a Chargers fan, I'm assuming you were watching the last game of the year when we had Storm Norton at right tackle and he got run over essentially by Max Crosby every single play. And Max Crosby generated pressure on Justin Herbert and was just in his face every single play for nearly the entire game, especially near the end of the game. We brought back Storm Norton, but he cannot be our starting right tackle. We have Trey Pipkins, who, to be fair, in the limited time that he did play last year, he looked okay, which I was happy with. But that's still a very low confidence level just because we have seen him start and play before, and he did not look good. He has been training with Duke Mayweather, but I don't know. That Trey Pipkins is still a little bit too big of a question mark for me to feel comfortable about him starting. Matt Filer, our current left guard, does have experience playing right tackle, and he played okay there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So right now it's looking like either Trey Pipkins or Matt Filer slated in at right tackle. If it's Matt Filer at right tackle, that leaves us with 2 holes at right guard and left guard. So either way, we need to address the offensive line, but primarily we need to figure out that right tackle position. It is a position of high importance, of high value on the football field, and just for protecting Justin Herbert for next year. Next, I have cornerback 3/4. If Michael Davis ends up starting, then it would technically be we just need a cornerback 4. If the Chargers truly have not necessarily fallen out of favor, but just aren't that high on Michael Davis anymore, then who we draft could end up starting in this defense. And even if they don't start right away, cornerback 4 is a very important position because right now, cornerback is a pretty injured position. A lot of skill positions get hurt a lot. A lot of positions just get hurt a lot. But right now, Tavon Campbell would be coming in as a starter if any of our guys went down. And we saw what happened last year. He was attacked on nearly every single play, let up a lot of big plays, liability. Him and Chris Harris, especially in that Vikings game, that is what is giving me flashbacks right now. But adding depth, and if we do get somebody in the first round, another potentially high-end starter to pair with J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel Jr., that would take this secondary to a new level, as well as adding depth, because then Michael Davis would be our cornerback 4. I could also see us taking like 2 corners in this draft, honestly. Next need, edge 3. So we have Joey Bosa. We have Khalil Mack. Possibly the best duo in the league. But past that, all we have is Chris Rumpf, and we signed one other guy from the Texans, I want to believe, way early in the off-season, possibly off waivers, I believe, like right after the season finished or something like that. I don't even remember his name. But none of those guys are going to be an edge 3, I think. I like Chris Rumpf. He is a good designated pass rusher who has some good moves, but not a great athlete, not great in run defense at all, not a true edge 3 who I would feel good about putting in there if Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack needed a break on early downs. So edge 3 is a pretty big need, but also a pretty big strength of this draft. Speed / run after the catch receiver. I think it's not necessarily just a luxury pick. I think it would move the needle significantly of this offense. In the first round, we have guys like Jameson Williams, Chris Olave. But even later in the draft, we have guys like Calvin Austin, Wan'Dale Robinson, pretty like a little bit even further later in the draft. And then straight line speed guys like Alec Pierce, Christian Watson, true deep threats, but not as much run after the catch gadget types. But we have Keenan Allen, but he's not a great, amazing run after the catch or especially deep threat. Great route runner, one of the best receivers in the league, do not get me wrong. Mike Williams, deep threat, but more of a jump ball, and he did expand his game a lot to more underneath stuff, so he is still a complete receiver, don't get me wrong, but adding a true deep threat, faster than Jalen Guyton, more complete of a receiver than Jalen Guyton, but still with that speed, I think would add a lot to this offense. And then right guard, as of right now, I guess Brendan Hymus would be slated in to play right guard, which I'm okay seeing what he can do there, but we haven't seen him play yet, really, so it is technically still a question mark. And it's a starting position on the offensive line. We need to protect Justin Herbert. And then linebacker. Brand Staley doesn't really value linebacker, so I put it pretty low on this list. But we didn't bring back Kaiser White after he led the team in tackles. And I like Drew Tranquill starting in this defense. I do. Kenneth Murray, I don't, for one. 2, he just had surgery on his ankle, so who knows when he's going to be back. 3, we just signed Troy Reeder. He is not a good linebacker in the NFL. More of a special teams guy. And even as much as Brandon Staley doesn't value linebacker, it's still a starting position on your NFL defense. You only get 11 guys to put out there, and 2 to 3 of them, most of the time 2 of them nowadays, are linebackers. It is still a position that you need to address, and right now we just really have nobody. We do have Eamon Agba something, who apparently the coaches are higher on, but still a little bit of a question mark, and similar to edge, a strength of this draft, so I could see us addressing it. Draft overview, not very many blue chip talents at the top of this draft. A blue chip guy is somebody who you feel very confident in being a, not just a reliable starter, but a high-end player for that position very quickly in the NFL. Last year, it was probably 12 deep for blue chip talents like Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell, couple quarterbacks, the 3 receivers, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain. I might put J.C. Horn in that group. There's just a lot of high-end, very sure blue chip talents. This year, I would say Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley, and Sauce Gardner, I personally would say are blue chip talents. Sauce Gardner, I would consider blue chip talent if I ran press man consistently, and that was a large part of my defense. If not, then, I mean, he probably won't be that high on your board anyway, just because he's not really a scheme fit. Especially for quarterbacks, quarterbacks dominate a lot of the narrative of each draft. We don't need one as Chargers fans, but there's just not very many high-end quarterbacks at all in this draft. Great depth at certain positions. So like I said before, edge, linebacker, and O-line, specifically interior O-line, I would say. There's very good depths where you can find starters for sure on day 2. Rounds 2 and 3. For linebacker and O-line, I would say you can definitely find starters into round 4, round 5 still. It's very deep at those positions. It is weak, like I said before, at quarterback, at interior defensive line, so your D tackles, nose tackles. Not a great class. There's a pretty big fall off after the top 3 of Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, and Travis Jones. Tight end, pretty weak class. No first rounders. I wouldn't even say any second rounders. And then overall weak at wide receiver. There's a group at the top, but I wouldn't consider any of them blue chip prospects. There's 2 who I could see developing into true wide receiver 1s, but my confidence level is just pretty low for that. Or not pretty low, it's just not as high as like a Jamar Chase type. Big C is a true all-around very much blue chip talent. I would say like Drake London and Garrett Wilson I could see developing into wide receiver 1s, but outside of that, it's a lot of what does your offense need / wide receiver 2s. And I also don't think that there's amazing depth to be found. I don't know. I would consider wide receiver overall average. The depth is average, just the high end isn't really there this draft. And then lastly, names to keep an eye on at pick 17. I would say Trent McDuffie, the cornerback out of Washington, very, very versatile player. A little bit on the shorter side, not that lengthy, but very, very athletic, very versatile. Jordan Davis, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Personally wouldn't be happy with this one at 17, but just a name to watch. Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. I would be happy with this one. very much a deep threat, very much a speed threat. He tore his ACL in the national championship game, but he is well on the road to recovery. Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State, I would say is probably my wide receiver 4 in this class, but he has decent straight line speed, very good route runner, nearly nothing after the catch, but very good separator, tracks the ball extremely well, one of the most pro-ready wide receivers in this draft, can come into almost any team and be a solid wide receiver too. Trevor Penning, offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa, dominates in the run game, but just the competition level was the biggest area of concern, as well as overall just refinement and technique. He is a little bit of a loose cannon on the field, a lot of penalties, kind of just wants to kill guys when he's out there, but doesn't really know how to throttle that back. Hopefully he can in the league. I wouldn't be thrilled with this pick at 17. I would rather trade back and try and get him or a guy like Bernard Ryman. But like I said before, just another name to watch out for. And then George Karlaftis, edge out of Purdue. I would be surprised if he was there at 17, but I've seen him fall out of the first round entirely sometimes. He has inside-outside versatility, so he would fill the edge 3 need, as well as being able to kick inside so he could play nearly every down. Because I don't really see us taking an edge in the first round just because they wouldn't consistently see the field, because we have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. But a guy like Karlaftis can kick inside when those guys are on the field, so he's getting reps. He's very, very strong, good in run defense, very good bull rush, can hold up on the inside. And then if Mack or Bosa needs a breather, one of them gets hurt, he can kick outside, and we have other guys on the inside to rotate. I think that's going to do it, though. Let me just check real quick. Yeah. A little sneak peek into possibly a future video. Yeah, that's going to do it, though. Little Chargers draft for dummies today. The For Dummies, like the books. I'm assuming most people are going to get that and not think it's offensive or something in this soft generation. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope that you guys are looking forward to Thursday because it's on my calendar. I have a lot of other school stuff to do, but that's in the back of my mind while the draft is at the front of my mind. I will see you guys in the next video.